I am no stranger to these proceedings. I've shared with you some of my personal stories of flooding and loss during Hurricane Ian. You may recall we received nearly 2 foot of storm surge, lost 4 vehicles, and virtually everything on the first floor of our home. What I've not shared with you yet, and what I'm slowly beginning to uncover, is the psychological and emotional trauma that I've encountered over the last 11 months. For 337 days, I've woken up and went to sleep in problem-solving mode. My mind is in a constant frenzy trying to figure out the whats, hows, whos, and whens of trying to put our life and our home back together, piece by grueling piece. I wake up in the middle of the night and my mind races to what I forgot to address that day or what tomorrow's things-to-do list should look like. I keep a notepad on my nightstand to scratch notes to myself, always hopeful that I'll fall back to sleep before my mind takes off into hamster wheel mode. However, most nights I am left wide awake for hours at times, filtering through random thoughts, like what I might say to you here today, for instance. I've come to learn that that kind of stress and manic processing takes a heavy toll on every aspect of your life. The other day, my husband referenced a dessert we took to a neighborhood barbecue a few months back, and I literally had no recollection of it whatsoever, none. It's a very bizarre feeling to go through the motions of life yet forget so many details, and that makes me sad because I live and thrive in the details of life. Travels to see my family back in Ohio, or for them to visit me for that matter, have become almost non-existent. My parents, who also flooded, and my sisters moved here just a few months before Ian to live out our retirement years together. Ian has stolen at least the first year of that dream. We also volunteer for the Cape Coral Friends of Wildlife organization, something that we had to give up back on September 28th of last year. I really miss that and hope to get back to that soon. My mind is also preoccupied with this very important opposition. And if all of that is not enough, I'm stressed with the knowledge that there are more storms brewing out there. Storms, not storm. Record weather and water temperatures should serve as a huge glaring warning of more of these intense storms in our future. July was the hottest month on record. It was the hottest month for Earth on record. And without the security of adequate storm protection, that knowledge terrifies me. As you can see by the audience today, I'm not alone. Everyone here in opposition of this project has their own horror stories of loss and survival. I am certain each of you have your own personal stories. So when the time comes to make your decisions on this development, we are asking you, begging you if we must, please stand with us, with your community, with your neighbors, with your family, and your friends to stop this unwanted and potentially dangerous development. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Marie Kavanaugh. I moved here in 2008 because Cape Coral was a laid-back, quiet, residential area. It wasn't hoity-toity like Naples. We could have bought down in Naples, but we liked the atmosphere here in Cape Coral. But this development, this Redfish Point, with 800 housing units, and they're going to be high-end, so these people aren't going to be there with just one car. They're going to have at least 2 cars, okay? If you take the average length of a car, say it's, make the math easy, 20 feet, you're going to have 1,600 cars. You put them end to end, you're looking at about 6 miles of traffic, bumper to bumper. Now, when we have a storm like this, evacuation is going to be a nightmare. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. Just bringing the dirt in to bring up that 100 acres, 1 foot, is going to involve 12,000 dump load trucks of dirt. If you had 50 trucks that every day just ran back and forth, if they did only 3 loads a day, you are looking at 80 days just bringing dirt in. Heavy trucks blasting down Pelican, using their air brakes, making a racket, and that's just the beginning. Then they got to bring in everything else. They got to bring in the concrete. They got to bring in the pipe. They got to bring in the cinder blocks. You got to bring in everything. And it's going to take probably 3-4 years to develop it the way it's being presented. And that's going to make our life an absolute nightmare. It's going to make it dangerous for our children. Just a few years ago, you broke Pelican Boulevard down from 4 lanes to 2 and widened a bicycle lane to be part of the Cape Coral bicycle tour around the city. What are you going to do? Take that away? You're going to take the median away? And if you develop this, you think for 1 second Weston is going to maintain that median from Cape Coral Parkway down to El Dorado? Of course not. It's going to be a disaster for the city. It's going to be a disaster for the animals. And I have a solution. You just recently sold a parcel up on Kismet and I believe El Dorado for $17 million. Why don't we take some of those funds and buy that property from the Zemmels? It would be a boom to tourism here. It'll be an absolute boom to tourism. It's one of the most ecologically pristine areas in this city.
Thank you, ma'am.
Please vote against it.